Welcome to Leadership Hall, where we learn leadership, think leadership, talk leadership, and effecting a positive change in leadership for kingdom and global impact. We encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel as we welcome our resource person.
Hello, friends. You're welcome to this leadership platform, and I'm called Neba. In our last episode on leadership, we're talking on how to raise next generation leaders. We did promise you that in this episode, we'll be coming to this very important concept on identifying potential leaders, because it will help us to know what to look for in those we can pour our lives into. We can pour our skills, our experience, we can spend our energy, we can spend our resources, we can spend our time on the right people. We don't want to put our investments in what we feel. I know you will not want to spend your energy, spend your years, spend your time, spend your days, your money, your resources on what will not work. So knowing how to identify potential leaders is important for you as a leader of leaders, a leader who is engaged in raising other leaders. It will also help you to predict the future of the nation. You can predict the future of your nation, the future of that bank, the future of that company, the future of the church from the kind of leaders or the kind of potential leaders that you have, or the potentials that are in the people that are under you presently. And so identifying potential leaders will help us to also predict the future of what can become of that nation, what can become of the church, what can become of that community, what can become of that organization 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 50 years, 100 years from now. You also know what areas to pay attention in the development process. When you know how to identify potential leaders, it will help you to know the areas you can spend your energy, you can spend your time, and you can spend your efforts. When we talk about identifying potential leaders, we are talking on the things that we can find in them, what is currently obvious in the people we have to invest in, or what they have shown in the past. We're not talking about what we desire to see in them. It's what we can see, what we are already seeing, what has already been there. That's what we mean potential. Potential has to do with the things that are already there. They are lying somewhere that can be developed, can be fanned into flame. We don't expect to see 100% of these potentials, or 75% of these potentials, or even 50% in some cases, but we want to see them to an extent. Now, what are some of the things that we want to find or we can trace in people that we can raise as leaders, we can develop as leaders? Number one, productive. Leaders should be people who are productive. So a potential leader should be somebody who has been productive, or who is productive in whatever he or she is doing. If he's a student, he or she should be making some remarkable success and some remarkable progress in his academic profile, academic life. As a businessman, businesswoman, they should be productive in business, productive in family, productive in the community, wherever they are. What are their accomplishments? What are their accomplishments? These are the questions we should ask. What does this young man accomplish for his 5 years in the church that you want to make the youth leader? What does this brother accomplish for his 10 years in the church that you want to make him an elder? You want to make him a deacon? What does this man accomplish, in his career, in this company for the past 4 years, the past 5 years, the past 10 years that you want to recommend him for leadership position? What has this man done in this sector in the nation that we want to appoint as the next leader, as the next delegate, the next director, the next minister, the next president, or whatsoever? So what are their accomplishments? Are they productive? Are they purpose-driven? Are they purpose-driven and focused in what they are currently doing? Because a leader has to be purpose-driven. A leader has to be focused. So you are looking at this quality of being focused in what they are currently doing. Is he focused in his dream? Is he focused in business? This brother, this sister, is he or she purpose driven in life? These are the things that you have to be looking for in potential leaders. Are they influential? Potential leaders should be influential people, influential men or women. How far can they inspire others? Do they have people who can voluntarily, freely follow them, or who are voluntarily or freely following them without any manipulation, without intimidation? Can he command followership? Is he or she carrying that ability in him or her to persuade men and women to action? So you are looking for influence, because leadership is all about influence. Is he influencing his immediate community, his immediate environment, where he is? Is he or she a man of influence already? He may not be as influential as the type 1 leaders or the first class leaders, but at his own small level of influence, it should be obvious. His leadership profile can be traced. What this leader that you want to invest in is currently doing. Do people look onto him or her for help, for assistance? Is he resourceful to his immediate environment, to his immediate community, the people that surrounds him? How resourceful is he to them? Do they look onto him for knowledge, for advice, for help, for assistance in one way or another? Do they inspire people? Is his success inspiring others around him or her? Do they take initiatives? Because leaders take initiatives. So you are looking at these potential leaders. Is he a man or a woman who can take initiative? He or she can take an action by himself without external influence, without external push. You see somebody enters a hall or a room, the room is nasty, the room is dirty. He or she just takes upon herself to clean that environment without somebody telling him or her. The person is somewhere, there's a problem, he or she can take an action step to solve that problem without an external push. There's a leader in that person. I was somewhere and a young lady walked in, and the room was actually dirty. I was just observing her. Immediately, she realized the room was dirty. She went and looked for a broom, looked for a rag, started keeping the place in order. That is leadership. The person can take initiative. Potential leaders take initiative. You are in church as a brother. Some people are not in church. Don't wait for the pastor to tell you to go and do follow-up. You can take initiative to go for follow-up, to clean the church, to go for evangelism. You don't wait for external push. Something is driving you from the inside, because leaders are driven from the inside, not from the outside. So what is driving you from the inside to take an action to affect the outside? That's the leader in the inside of you. So we know potential leaders for this ability in taking initiatives. They are creative. They are creative. You ask them to do something, they can think for themselves, and they can provide solutions for themselves or by themselves without external help. Not in all cases, but in most cases, they are creative in how they do things, in how they think. They are creative in their thinking. They are creative in their actions. Potential leaders are serviceable. When you are looking for upcoming leaders, you look for people who are serviceable. They are ready to serve in whatever capacity. In fact, potential leaders, real leaders, don't need positions to serve. They don't need titles to serve. They don't even need recognition to serve. If you want to know who are the real leaders to raise, the real leaders to appoint, the real leaders to entrust responsibilities to, look for those people who can serve without even being asked for. They can volunteer their services. They can volunteer their time. They can volunteer their energy. They can volunteer their knowledge just to make things better in that company, in that church, in that community, in that nation. Potential leaders easily accept responsibilities. They don't struggle to accept responsibilities. They don't give excuses why they cannot do what you are asking them to do. Rather, They even try to persuade or convince you to entrust responsibilities into their hands. They want to serve, they want to work, they want to do something. That is leadership in people. Potential leaders have what we call people skills. They are others oriented, they are not self oriented. People who are others oriented in their thinking, they are others oriented in practice, they are great leaders. You can entrust leadership to such people. When we talk about others oriented, it means that they think others first before themselves. They think the success of others. They think about the well being of others, the well being of the organization. They put the interests of others before their own interests can come. So they think others before themselves, and they think people and not things. Great leaders think people, small leaders think things. So even in their dreams and visions, they value others, they value people around them. They want to serve people, they want to help people, they want people's problems to be solved. They always want to meet the needs of people around them. That is a leader. That's a leader. They have team spirit and they are team players. They can work with people. They have shown that skills in working and relating with people. They have relational skills. They can relate with people at all levels. They are not selective in their dealings with people. These are great leaders. Because once you make somebody a leader, this leader, you know, is to meet the needs of people of all levels, all categories. And now when you have somebody who is selective, who is biased in his relational dealings or in his relationships, in our relationships, then the person cannot be a true or an effective leader. Leaders should have relational skills. They should know how to relate with people at all levels from all kinds of backgrounds. So identifying potential leaders, look for people who have what we call people skills. They are people oriented. They are not things oriented. They are not task oriented first. They are people oriented first. I know we have a culture where we look for leaders who can do things. No, we should look for leaders who can relate with people, because the strength of leadership is in relationship. So great leaders know how to build relationship. They know how to keep relationships. They know how to work with people from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different worldviews, and all of that. Great leaders, have what we call intercultural skills or cross-cultural skills. They know how to penetrate people of different cultural backgrounds, different philosophies, different worldviews, and all of that. Potential leaders who can become great leaders, they are people who easily adapt to different people. They can easily access different kinds of people with different temperaments without them breaking down. They are team players. They know how to work in the team. They know how to work with others. And they have what we call team spirit. Potential leaders should actually have team spirit because they should be team players. Now, we also talk about skills and talents. When you are looking for potential leaders, look for the skills. What skills do they have? What abilities do they already have? Jesus Christ saw the ability of fishing, in the disciples. He said, "Follow me, I will make you fishers of men." So, what abilities do they have in them? What skills do they already have? What talents do they carry? The talents, look at the skills. You can know where to position them. You can know what area you can invest in them. You can develop in them to become effective and become productive and resourceful for the organization, for that company. So, what skills do your people have? What talents do they have? What are their giftings? You must be able to identify their giftings, their talents, their skills in order to develop them, because they need those talents in their different areas. The way God has wired each and every one of us is so unique, is so special. So our giftings, our potentials, our talents, are divine deposits, for our leadership profile. And our different giftings, our different talents, our different abilities and skills tells us that we can be different kinds of leaders. There are some leaders who are managerial leaders, some are administrative leaders, and different aspects. So some are motivational leaders. For example, people have the gift of motivation, the gift of encouragement. They can become motivational leaders easily than becoming organizational. So you look at the giftings of the people, their talents and their strengths and weaknesses. It helps you to know what kind of leader they can also become and how you can help them become the different kind of leaders they should become or they can become. It's very, very important. Our next point we want to bring on how to identify potential leaders. You have to look for leaders or people who have shown themselves reliable. Paul told Timothy, what you've received from me, pass it on to what kind of people? Reliable people, faithful people, loyal people. You know, to raise leaders, you need to identify people who are reliable, people that you can count on them, you can trust them in whatever domain. You can trust them with ministry responsibilities. You can trust them with your pulpit. You can trust them with your platforms. You can trust them with your resources, and it won't be squandered. It won't be perverted. It won't be diverted. Uh, People have shown loyalty to God, loyalty to you, loyalty to your dreams, loyalty to your vision, loyalty to the nation. You want to appoint ministers, you want to appoint governors, you want to appoint delegates, you want to appoint officials in the nation. Look for people who have shown loyalty, people who are reliable, they have proven themselves faithful. It is said that it is required for stewardship that a man be found faithful. So before you entrust responsibilities, find out if they have shown themselves faithful in other things. Even Jesus Christ said, because you have been faithful in little things, you'll be entrusted with much. It means you are growing in leadership. So people must show themselves faithful in some things. Those people who are there, they are dreaming to become the next leaders in that church, in that company, in that organization, or whatever. Evaluate them where they are. Are they faithful in what they are doing presently? Is that brother faithful in that ushering department? Is that brother faithful in attending the youth group in the church before making him the youth leader? Is that sister faithful, in serving others, in the choir before you are making her a choir leader? Is that brother faithful in what he has been assigned to do in the church before you are entrusting greater responsibilities into his hands or her hands? It's very, very important. People who have also shown passion or who have passion for the nation, passion for the organization, passion for the vision of that organization, for that company, for that church, for that ministry. These are potential leaders. Are they passionate? You can't put somebody into leadership who has never shown passion, for the work of God in that church, passion for the growth of that organization, passion for the growth of that company, passion for the nation. He has never shown passion. She has never shown passion. And you want to entrust leadership responsibilities into his hands or her hands. That would be a very big mistake. You also find out their investments and commitments. The people that we can entrust leadership into their hands, they are people who have invested their time, their energy, their resources, their time, their efforts in that church, in that ministry, in that organization, in that nation. Their investments and commitments. Trace their investments. What are their commitments? How are they committed to that church? How are they committed to you? How are they committed to the group to which they belong in that church? How are they committed, to nation building? How are they committed, to God? How are they committed, in their own personal works, in their own personal dealings, in their own personal affairs? Do they show commitment in their own personal affairs? Do they have an investment mindset? Are they contributors or are they just consumers? Because people who are in the church who only consume ministry, they don't contribute to ministry, they cannot be leaders. They cannot even be made ministers. They should not even be given ministry platforms. They should have been investing. They should have been contributing. They should have been showing themselves responsible in other areas. Are they sacrificial? Can they go an extra mile with you? Can they go an extra mile in that organization? Can they give extra time? Can they put extra hours for work? Can they put extra commitment? Even without you asking, can they go an extra mile by themselves? Are they sacrificial? Are they dedicated? Are they devoted in what they are doing? Do they enjoy what they are doing? Do they find fulfillment where they are? Because if somebody is in your church and the person is not finding fulfillment in that church, don't invest in that person, because that person will leave in less than no time. Somebody is in that company and the person is not finding fulfillment in that company, in that organization, don't invest in that person. The person will soon leave that company for another company. Somebody is in your nation, he or she is not finding fulfillment in that nation, don't invest in that person for leadership, because that person will soon leave to another nation. Are they fulfilled where they are? When you are looking for people to invest, look for people who are satisfied in what they are doing and where they are doing what they are doing. They have no regret serving you. They have no regret being where they are, even for no salary, for no reward, for no compensation. They are still fulfilled. They are still involved. They are still committed. They are still devoted. They can still invest no matter what it costs, no matter what it takes. Their investments are there. Those kind of people can become sure and strong leaders you can develop, and you know that organization, that church, that nation has a future. Do they have potentials that are oriented towards leadership? Are they visionary? Are they optimistic? Leaders must be people who are optimistic, people who believe in possibilities, people who don't bow down to problems and to challenges. They don't give up on challenges. They believe that there can always be a positive and a possible outcome. You will need those kind of people. You need those kind of people in your leadership team. You need this kind of people in your ministry team. You need this kind of people in your organization, in your nation. People who are visionary, people who are futuristic, people who can think, who can see the future, and they can take actions to engage others into that future that they have seen. People who can take risks, potential leaders. There are people, men and women, who can take risks. People who are curious to learn. They are teachable. They can take correction. They can take lessons from you. They can apply the things they are learning without any pressure. They are not afraid of making mistakes, and they don't give excuses for their mistakes. They are willing to learn. They are willing to improve on what they are doing. You see them excelling, making some progress. They are making some efforts. They want to know more. They are inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions. Potential leaders, they are inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions, real questions. People want to grow in leadership. People want to grow in ministry. People want to grow in their career. They're inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions. They are dynamic and they are innovative. They are flexible. They are not stereotyped. People who are stereotyped cannot be great leaders, cannot be good leaders. Because leadership involves dynamism. You have to be flexible because you are exposed to change all the time. Are these people that you want to invest your life, your energy, your resources, all what you have in them for leadership, are they dynamic? Are they willing to embrace change? Are they ready to embrace change? Are they flexible for change, or they always want things to be the way it has always been? Those kind of people, they cannot take your ministry forward. They cannot take the church forward. They cannot take the nation forward. They will only keep the church where it has always been. So leaders should be people with a dynamic mindset. They are innovators. They can bring new changes, new things, positive changes, good changes, of course, wherever they are. They are resilient. They are resilient. Potential leaders and great leaders are resilient. It means these are people who can bounce back no matter the obstacles. They don't give up no matter the pressure, no matter the challenge that comes their way. Another thing you can find in growing leaders is that they have problem-solving skills. They know how to solve problems. They know how to tackle problems. They know how to handle problems. They know how to manage crises without breaking, without complaining, without giving up, and without, retreating, without retreating from their commitment, without retracting their commitment, their investments, and all of that. There are some people that when things are fine, they can go with you. When things are bad, they can abandon you. Those are not people to invest in. Real leaders are those who can stand with you. When things are fine, they are there. When things are bad, they are there with you. You can pour your life, you can invest, they can die for you, they can die for the organization, they can die for that church, they can die for that ministry, they can die for your nation. Consequently, you can also die for them by investing your all in them and for them, and you can go along with them. Well, these are the few tips we had in this episode on how to identify potential leaders. Feel free to drop a comment, to drop your questions or your recommendations. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to also share what you are learning with others and on other platforms. God bless you. I remain your friend, John Neba. You can contact us using the number on your screen. God bless you.
Welcome to Leadership Hall, where we learn leadership, think leadership, talk leadership, and effecting a positive change in leadership for kingdom and global impact. We encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.